afternoon. How is everybody doing on this Tuesday afternoon? You got 2 for 2 of me today. Got the pups running around. Let's see how long that is going to last before I have to put you on pause, put them in their crate. I am Kitcher Marie, reside in St. Louis, Missouri, artist, writer, speaker, life and business coach, no filter, been running around, had to go to the post office, drop off my income tax returns. Ran over to the grocery store to pick up some green beans that are going in the crock pot ham left over from Easter. But I want to know, what is everybody really talking about in their content these days? What is the go-to conversation that is needing to be had that is not? Started writing on my blog again, Pretty in Pink, Perfect in Paisley, trying to get the microphone situated. And I was looking back over articles I wrote in 2016, 17, and 18 that all of a sudden had this massive view. And I was going over and looking at what the content was about and what would it be to somebody now of interest that they are needing to go back to read something I wrote years ago, other than it's new people, new customers, new potential clients, brands. Put you on hold. Hold on. Okay, now they're in their crate and maybe I can finish this. But what I find so interesting or fascinating about what I wrote back then, it was coming out of a health journey and the things that I needed to do in order to get my health back in order, because I did not want the burden or the responsibility to fall on my children if, God forbid, something happened to me for whatever reason at the hands of somebody else. The illness that I had, I don't want to call it a disease, but the autoimmune issue that I had, that at one point it was very questionable what was going to happen. You know, I was anemic, low iron, my blood pressure had dropped out, was having major female issues. An incident had happened out of change of life, had dropped all kinds of weight. Not that I was ever like really heavy, but I mean, I dropped massive pounds. A lot of it had to do with a mental and emotional wherewithal and what I needed to do to take care of my health, because I was accountable for my own body. I was accountable for my mental state. I was accountable for how emotions were going to run rampant in this illness that I had. You know, I was diagnosed with, and I always say it wrong, chronic lymphatic leukemia, which is on the lower end of the leukemia. And I was diagnosed with that in January of 2013. Prior to that, 2011, I had a severe staph infection. I waited too long to get to the hospital. And the staph infection, which turned toxic septic. That's what the word I'm trying to find. It turned septic. If I would have waited 1 more hour, I would have been dead. It had attacked the B cell. The B cell is what you need in order to have a proper immune system. And from that incident in 2011, it started a snowball effect in 2013 with the diagnosis of the chronic lymphatic leukemia. And like I said, it falls on the lower end of the leukemia, but it falls more into an autoimmune issue, because if you do not have your B cell, which is a sister to the T cell, and if anybody knows anything about the medical industry, you understand those are the 2 big cells you need in order to have a healthy, functioning immune system. You know, years ago, I smoked, years ago, but then I developed asthma. You know, at those times, working in a smoky bar had a lot to do with it. But the conversation that needs to be had And we all need to be having, because I will be 63. I plan to live to be 116. About being accountable for whatever your health issue is, taking responsibility and not being in denial or afraid to address whatever it is that might be going on in your health journey. You know, that can fall into a lot of different things. You know, being diabetic, what's the other? Being obese, fatty liver, having heart issues, trying to think of all the other things, you know, and then cancer falls into a whole complete different category, but there is a root to even why the cancer has started, and the responsibility that just needs to be talked about in changing the way you live, altering your mindset, and applying a new set of rules, if you may, into altering your lifestyle so you can live to be as old as you want to live. But when you are afraid and you are in denial, and you are not addressing the things that is externally affecting everybody else, you don't get to play the victim. You don't get to play woe is me and turn this around and project it on somebody else, when you especially know that there is a cure, a way to prolong and slow down whatever you have going on. You cannot continue to live the same type of life, expect other people to deal with it, put up with it, just because that's who you are, or what you have, or how you've come about, or how the world has done you wrong, and you've been in the wrong environments and the wrong places that have made you sick, and you refuse to leave out of the environment that has got you in this place to begin with. You know, my guy and I, we go back and forth all the time. I have a chronic illness that I have to pay very, very much attention to. He has an illness that he refuses to pay attention to. And at times it does cause big problems. Big problems. And just like other narcissistic issues, narcissists will expect you to deal with, and it comes often with illness. You will see things appear when people get sick, because not only do they think you have to tolerate their bad behavior, but you have to tolerate them choosing not to take care of the things that they need to be accountable and responsible for themselves. You know, as a life coach, health, I preach health and wellness first and foremost, above anything. Because I can tell you, my dad, at the age of 59, he had gotten sick in January. He was diagnosed in May with liver cancer, fatty liver, still smoked, retired July, and he died in September. Now, being a daddy's girl, I took care of my dad till the day that he died. You know, my sister and I did what we needed to do to make sure that Dad was comfortable in the very end of his life. It's heart-wrenching. It's emotional. It's devastating to see somebody who refused to be accountable for health and not altering that by the time he was diagnosed, it was way too late. And then regret kicks in, and all the other stages that come along with having a detrimental illness that is going to take your life. So my advice to whomever is out there, be accountable for your health. Be accountable for the way that you live, and be responsible for yourself, and understand what you're putting your whole family through, because you are ignoring, in denial, and are afraid of learning what the real culprit is and how you can manage and control so you can grow old and live to be happy and healthier in a whole other state of awareness. Take care, and I'll see you real soon. I am Kitra Marie, reside in St. Louis, Missouri, an artist, writer, speaker, a life and a business.